And welcome to the third day of our free 5 days online web development bootcamp. And today what we will be doing is we are going to create a login form. But before we move on to today's agenda, I'll just like to comment on some things and some questions that most of you ask. Some of you guys reach out to me that asking whether there will be a masterclass or after the free 5 days training. That will be all. So my response to these questions are, I'm not going to advertise any course or any masterclass on the platform. And after the 5 days online bootcamp, those that are interested in continuing their web development journey can hit me up in my private DM. Though it is not going to be free, I'll be frank with you, but the price is gonna be affordable. And also, what we are doing in this free 5 days online bootcamp is not all that you need to become a complete website developer. As you can see, some of you are struggling to write simple HTML codes and CSS style sheets, and that is because we skipped a lot. And since this course is structured to introduce you to web development and then how the internet and websites actually works, so I didn't go deep into the introductory parts of web development. But those that contacted me that they would like to continue their journey will have the privilege to start from HTML. In the first week or the first 3 days, we are going to be doing pure HTML, and after HTML we will be moving on to CSS and then JavaScript and that order. I'll walk those that are interested in other related courses and not just web development. I've created a website where I compile a lot of digital courses, and among those courses are smartphone graphic design, and there are a lot. So this is the website that I've created, and I'll walk you through this website. We have the complete Android graphic design course, and we also have how to use ChatGPT effectively. We have affiliate marketing for beginners. We have complete Facebook ads course. We have smartphone video editing. We have email marketing, Google ads, we have Google ads course. We have social media marketing, complete smartphone graphic design with Canva, and then we have website design with WordPress, that is no coding website design. And then we also have simple smartphone landing page design. We have WhatsApp automation and YouTube advertising, and a bonus to that, we have client acquisition. So the first course is complete Android graphic design, and in this course the tools that we use are Pixel Lab, Canva, and then Snapseed. And all these courses that you are watching on the screen right now they are video courses where you can go and then watch the videos and practice alongside with the video. So the course is of different models. We have introductory parts, tools, and all that. We have everything that you need to become a complete Android graphic designer is included in this course. So now what we are going to be doing is, if in case you are not interested in web development or you want to learn another digital skill in addition to web development, you can give me a comment in the comment section, not on my WhatsApp DM, but in the comment section of this video. But if you are interested in continuing your web development journey, you can send me a message on my WhatsApp number. Back to today's agenda. Today we are going to be building a login form. And as we already talked on how we can create a project, so I would like you guys to go and create a new project and name it login form. And inside that project we are going to have our index.html file and then our style.css file. I already did mine and I would like you guys to also do same. So after creating these files, we open our index.html file and then set the title of our website to login form. And the next thing that we are going to do is to link our CSS to our HTML website. So we are going to link our CSS to our HTML. So let's say star.css this way. So the next thing that we are going to do is to go to the inner part of our body element, that is inside the closing and opening part of our body, and then we add a form like this. So when you just type form, inside the opening tag we have some attributes such as action, method, and then character set, accept character set, and just ignore them as we will be talking on that later in this course. And bring your cursor to where what's the name of the sign, that's greater than sign in the opening tag. So just hit enter and your cursor will go down. So what we are going to do now is to bring an h2 element, that is heading 2, and then the content of that heading should be login. So the next thing that we were looking at is to add the form content, where we will be having input, and then let's say input, we are adding input into our form. And initially you have something like type, text, stroke, submit, hidden, and other. So just delete everything and then set the type. So the type of the form, the input should be text, meaning in this input we only accept text input, not numbers and not characters. We want text. So id should be eliminated, and then the value 2 should be eliminated. So the next thing that we are going to do is to add another attribute called required. So let's say something like this, required, meaning the user cannot submit the form without providing input for this particular text box. So what we are going to do next is to add another input. So before that input, let's have a name of this first input to be email, like this, and then a placeholder to be your email, like this. So when we run this code, we should have something like this, and the placeholder here is the placeholder text that we've just added, your email. So back to our HTML, we are going to add another input, but this time around the input we are going to add the type of that input should be password, like this, and then the name of this input too should be password. The id and value should be removed, the id and value should be removed, and then we should have a placeholder that tells the user what is to be entered there. Let's say password like this. So now when we run this code, we should have something like this: your email and then password. So let's add the required attributes there too. And what we are going to do next is to add a button. So this button is going to be our login button. So the type should be submit, and then the content of this button should be log in like this. So when we run this code, we should have something like this. So we have our login. So when we try submitting this form, the form without entering any details, it won't. So now what we are going to do next is to go to our CSS file, and then we start styling our form. So the first thing that we are going to do is to target our body. After targeting our body, we open our curly bracket and then set the font family to poppins, and then we are going to set the background. Color to something like coral. The background color to coral. And when we run this, we should have a background of coral color. So what we are going to do next is to give it a display of flex, and then let's justify the content to the center of our web page, and then we give it alignment of center to centered our form, or to centered the contents of our web page. And the next thing that we are going to do is to give it a height of 100 VH. That takes the height of the screen in which it is being displayed. And now what we are going to do next is to work on the login form. But before we do that, we first need to go back to our form and then give it a class. And the reason why we are doing this is because we might have several forms on our website, so we cannot just target form and then start styling it. So let's go back to our login form. Inside the opening tag of the form, then we give it a class of login hyphen form like this. So after doing this, all that we are going to do next is to go to our CSS and then call the login form the login form class that we've added. And then now let's style it by giving it a background color of white. So let's say background to be hash FFF, and then give it a padding of 40 pixels top and bottom, and then 30 pixels left and right. So padding to be 40 pixels top and bottom, and then 30 pixels left and right. So the next thing that we will do is to give it a border radius of a border radius of 10 pixels, and we should give this form a width of 300 pixels. So let's give it a width of 300 pixels. So now when we run this code, we should have something like this on our web page. So now let's go back to our CSS, and we are going to target the H2 element that we've added. So let's say login form and then H2 like this. So we are targeting the H2 element that we've added. So we are going to give the text alignment of this to be center, and then we give it margin bottom of 25 pixels. So let's say margin bottom to be 25 pixels this way. So now when we run this code, we should have something like this. So now what we are going to do next is to target the input, that is the input for the email and then the input for the password. So let's say dot login form input. So we are styling the input of the login and then the email and then the password form. The first thing that we are going to do is to give it a width of, so the width should be 100%. You should take the full width of the container in which it is in, and which is the form container. So it should have 100%, and then we should give it a padding of 10 pixels. So the padding should be 10 pixels, or 10 pixels like this. And then the next thing that we are going to do is to give it a margin of 10 pixels top and bottom, and then 0 left and right. So let's say margin to be 10 pixels top and bottom, and then 0 left and right. So let's give it a border. So a border to be okay. Let's run the code. So this is what we should be having, and we are coming to give it a border, as we have a thin line around the border of our input. So we want to change the style of this border. So what we are going to do is to give it a border of 1 pixels. That is the width of the border, 1 pixels, and the color to be, let's say, solid black like this. 1 pixels solid black, that is the border. So now when we run this code, we should have the border to be deeper than as it was. So now what we are going to do next is to give it a border radius of 5 pixels. So let's say border radius to be 5 pixels this way. So let's run it, and we should be having our border radius curved 5 pixels each. The next thing that we are going to do is to work on the button that we've added, that is the login button. So let's call our login form. So dot login form, and then we should target the button now. So we are going for this button, and let's apply styles to the button. The width of the button should be 100%. So 100% this way, and then we should give it a background of blue. No, I'll give it coral background should be coral this way, and then let's give it a color. So the color should be white. This way. And then the next thing that we are going to do is to give it a padding of 10 pixels around. So let's say padding, so padding to be 10 pixels around. So now when we run our code, we should have something like this. The next thing that we are going to do is to change the border. So we are going to set the border of our button to none. So our button will not have any border around it. So this is how it is going to look like. So what we are going to do next is to apply a transition. So let's say transition, let's say 0.2 seconds. So the transition should be 0.2 seconds, and then let's come here and use CSS pseudocode. So we have our login form, and then we want to start the buttons or the button of this form, and we are going to set, okay, let's say we want to add an effect to it when we hover our mouse over it. So now let's set the background color to be let's say, I'll just say white. And then what I'm going to do next is let me set the background color to black, and then set the color itself to white. So let's set the color to white this way. So what this hover does is it gives our button a background color of black, and then the text color to be white when we hover our mouse or our cursor over our button, or when we click on it. For instance, if we run this code and then try to click on the button, the background color of the button should change to black, as you can see, and that is the effect of the hover. So this is where we are going to end for today, and I'll see you guys for tomorrow.